Hello, hello, and welcome to Sis Stop Sulkin Podcast. This is the space where we talk mindset, self-love, and life goals. My name is Miss Tasha Talks Life. So today I want to introduce Dr. Peggy Margetson. She is a trailblazer in women's health and the founder of Trust Women's Healthcare. As a board-certified women's nurse practitioner, she spent over a decade caring for women across every stage of life, specializing in PCOS, menopause, and sexual health. Dr. Peggy is on a mission to revolutionize how women, especially women of color, care for themselves. Some of her work has been featured in Essence, Forbes, Health, ABC's Here and Now. She's not just leading in medicine, she is creating real change. Welcome to the show, Dr. Peggy.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. This is going to be so good.
It is, yes, absolutely. So let's talk.
Yeah. So, did I leave anything off? Is there anything you want to add?
No. It always just seems surreal whenever someone's reading my bio. So I am definitely grateful and blessed. And so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you're doing it. I love
you.
that. So I just want to jump right in. I have a question. For me, when I saw you at my church's women's anniversary and you spoke, and I was just like in awe because you're so young and you're doing amazing things in the, health department and helping women. And I'm on this new level of life. And so when you mentioned it, it just piqued and I was like, I have to sit with you. I have to have you talk to my audience. So again, thank you. But before we get into Trust Women's Health, what inspired you to start this path and get into medicine?
First, let me say thank you for telling me that I look young. I want to say that I moisturize whenever anybody says that. So I thank you. I have good genetics. But, I really got into women's health was because I was tired. I was frustrated. Mm-hmm. Black women and women in general are often dismissed, are ignored. And I was just tired of hearing, women dying from pregnancy or having these major complications or conditions that should have been dealt with and treated because they were dismissed and ignored, and now in the later stages, and now we're trying to play catch up. Yeah. So I wanted to be part of the solution to this huge epidemic problem that we have, not only in this country, but in this world, of how women's health is not seen at the forefront and how women are not taken seriously. So like I said, I wanted to be part of the solution and create an experience and a platform so that women are seen and heard.
Yeah. Is there because I know for me, when I think about my history, it's devastating, right? Like the surgeries that I did that I later found out I didn't need. I know a lot of my friends have had myomectomies and partial hysterectomies and things like that. Women are dying, like you said. So was there a family member or anything like that made you like, okay, I need to be the solution, or it's just in general?
So early on, even before I went into healthcare, because healthcare is my second career, I too had been ignored and dismissed during my pregnancy, where I almost lost my daughter. Thank God that I had my mother, who is a nurse and was really my advocate, and we didn't take no for an answer. So that was my first experience of being ignored and dismissed, and didn't know it at the time. But it was just a series of events, like as a provider, just caring for women and just hearing their stories. And I would walk into a room and they would say, oh my God, thank God you're Black, or thank God you're a woman, or you listen to me. So then it was like an aha moment, like, okay, it can't just be here where I am. It has to be something else. And so in my research and going to my doctoral program, there was just astonishing just news reports and just data and evidence that we're not being heard. And there is a problem specifically in this country, in this state, in this city. And I wanted to use my voice and my platform. So it was a combination of things, and just, again, it's still to this day when I hear women are dying during pregnancy, it still hits me to my core. And, shouldn't be this way. And women who come in who are pregnant are petrified. And their first thing is not that, oh, I want a boy or I want a girl or I just want to be alive.
That's so crazy.
And this is something that women have been doing for centuries, giving birth. And now to have a woman dying from pregnancy, we have to do something. So I did.
I love that. And especially when you look at the statistics, to me it feels like, and I'm not like trying to say, but to me it feels like, I know statistically it's more of us.
Absolutely.
And so when you said that, when, you see a Black or brown woman and they come in, they're like, oh my God, they're grateful that, because that is real. That's almost like when you go to, this is a little side, but like when you go to like a conference or something and it's, we're the only two, and you can lock eyes like, I see you.
Yes, absolutely.
I got you. You got me, right?
Yes, absolutely. And
God.
it's not just pregnancy, right? Pregnancy was the first time that I really encountered the
Yeah.
disparities within women's health, but it falls with all conditions. And it's like, wait a minute, what is going on here? We make up half the population, but yet we are the ones that are least treated. Our data is not up to date. And why is this happening?
Right.
So I think with all of that, it was a combination of things and conditions where I really wanted women to feel like there's someone advocating for them.
Yeah, no, I love that. And also there is, on the flip side, if we want to think about like just accountability for ourselves in certain, as far as how we take care of our health, because I feel like it's like a new wave of women that are like on this health journey, and it's a lifestyle, and they're really, because we didn't have that representation as, I know I didn't, if I speak for myself.
I didn't as well.
And a lot of things that we ingest, food that we eat, things like that can contribute to some of, but that doesn't mean that we don't deserve proper care either. So I'm not going to say that. But what are some of the, I guess, the signs when you're dealing with, let's start with menopause. Because,
yes.
Oh gosh, like I got my fan and everything. So
you and so many women. So many women.
Let's talk about that.
Yes. So first, I love treating menopause. You know why I love treating menopause?
Okay.
Because it requires me to listen, which I do anyway. So to me, it comes easy. Okay, I'm going to listen to my patient and let's tackle this together. So, specifically when it comes to menopause, any person, woman born with an ovary goes through menopause. It's a natural transition.
Right.
So billions of women will go through this. Not every woman will experience pregnancy. Not every woman will experience certain medical conditions, but menopause,
We all getting it.
you're all getting it. So, and there is a lack of education when it comes to menopause. There is such a lack, even within my colleagues, even in my medical training, we didn't get enough menopause care content. Maybe an hour, maybe a lecture, if that. So a lot of what I've learned was post-education, was continuing education to being able to treat my patients. And it's not just me, it's really the healthcare system and the healthcare training where it is definitely broken. But if menopause affected men, I'm sure that the education would have been there long before.
So why do you, like, that's another thing, like being new here, and doing a little research on our own. It really is, like, I don't even remember my grandmother, my aunt, my mom, I don't remember them talking about it. It's just like, I'm like, wait, so I'm screaming into the rooftops right now because I want them to prepare, right?
Yes.
And there's so many different side effects. And so I'm grateful that, I'm not dealing with too much, but I believe that the story needs to be had. And that's another reason why, when you had mentioned it at the women's thing, I said, I want to have the conversation with a professional. I don't want to just be sitting up here with my friends talking about, well, maybe this or maybe that, but like, this is real talk,
It is absolutely, it is real talk. And because our mothers and grandmothers, they were told to just deal with it. There are women today still are told to deal with it. I have women coming into me after seeing 4 or 5 providers and being told that it's a part of life. You need to just deal with it. There's nothing you can do. It's natural. And they come to me like, I am struggling.
Yeah.
I need help. And so with our mothers and grandmothers, again, you were just taught, just listen, this is just life. Just deal with it. You'll get over it.
Yeah.
And that's not okay. It is not. And I think we're the generation that is like, no, enough is enough.
Right.
And we're not going to do this because we're fly. We're cute.
Right, exactly.
No one has time for menopause and their menopausal symptoms. Who has time for that? We are running multi-million-dollar companies. We are leading this country. We are doing some amazing things. Who has time for brain fog?
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I was just, when you were saying, I was like, that's one of mine. As a, you
Yes.
know, it's just like, no. And if they could figure out, if Magic Johnson is still, come on now, like we don't have to just deal with it.
No, and there are treatment options out
Yeah.
there. And the thing is that with the treatment options, there's such a taboo regarding hormone therapy that women are just like, nope, I'll just deal with it. I don't want to die. And I'm here to say that hormone therapy is one of the most effective and safe treatments out there.
Okay, tell me more,
Okay.
please.
So, one thing to know is when you go through perimenopause, menopause. So perimenopause is a transition into menopause.
Yes.
And menopause is when you've had no period for 12 months. But during the perimenopausal symptoms, which can last 7 to 10 years, and with Black women and women of color can last a little bit longer. So you're talking about women may start to experience this in their 30s. There is a combination of symptoms. You may not get all, you may get some, but you start to notice that it's impacting the quality of life that you have. Whether it's hot flashes with or without sweating, brain fog, cold shoulder, palpitations, irritability, difficulty sleeping, joint pain, fatigue, the list goes on and on, ears to scratching, like it's just so many different things. And so when you see that, you start to wonder, again, you have to rule out other things, because the thing with menopause is a lot of symptoms definitely overlap with other conditions. So when you go through perimenopause, you're starting to lose the crucial hormones that make us women, estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. That's why we are having all of these symptoms. Once you lose them, you don't get them back. So we have to replace them. And the most effective is replacing them with hormone therapy, which estrogen, progesterone, and yes, there is testosterone that can help women as well. And the reason why the taboo is because there was a study that came out in 2002 that said hormones are bad. There was a whole press conference, and when the study was debunked and just looked at a little bit more closely, there was some flaws. There was some great data that we were able to extract from it. But for the most part, they did a press conference and why hormones are unsafe for women. I've never heard of that. I don't. And the thing is that
There's an agenda.
There was definitely an agenda. And the thing is that so women went from feeling great to not feeling well at all. And now over the decades, providers have really done a great job in really looking at the study and saying, wait a minute, this was flawed. This does not initiate breast cancer. It doesn't cause heart disease. It doesn't cause stroke. So we have a whole generation of women, including my mother, who had no hormones and went through all of this. So when we talk about hormone therapy, especially with estradiol, there are several different forms. There is a patch that you just put on weekly and go about your day. There is an oral tablet. There is an aerosol mist. And there's also like a cream that topically that you place on. And what that does, it delivers estrogen to you. And it helps with the hot flashes. It helps with a lot of the systemic issues that happen. Simultaneously, I do prescribe progesterone because progesterone is like our sedative hormone. It kind of relaxes and calms us. So women who have difficulty sleeping, it helps with sleep. It helps the uterine, protect the uterus for those who still have a uterus. And also it has like an anti-anxiety effect. So if you're erratic and it's because of the loss of hormones, you will find that you're a little bit more chill, a little bit more calming. And then we have testosterone, which unfortunately is not FDA approved in this country. However, we still can prescribe it off label to help with the sexual functions and increasing your libido and just the icing on the cake for hormones.
And
so
do you take all three?
So, and that's where it comes listening to women. What are the symptoms that a woman is going through? What is it systemic? Is it just something where it's vaginal dryness? Is it something where it's just increasing your libido? So it's really listening. So you have hormone therapy, you have non-hormonal therapy. You also have supplements that also help women throughout this time. So there should be no excuse why women can't get treated for menopause. Women are still doing great and amazing things, and we should be able to feel good while we're doing it.
Yes. Oh, I feel so relieved. I feel so seen and heard.
Yes, absolutely. And it's really going through. So when a woman comes in and we discuss menopause, we go through all of the different options. And I think women who are able to be on hormone therapy because there are some contraindications, right? So once a woman we've gone through the history and they don't have any contraindications, that's usually the first and foremost, because not only does it help with symptoms, it's also prevention for our bones, our heart, our minds. And that's what women need to understand. The hormone is not just for the symptoms that you're experiencing. It is also prevention for a lot of these things, a lot of conditions that our hormones protect us from.
This is good.
It's now gone.
This is good. This is really good because I think that right there is unknown. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of women in their new research and finding and getting misinformation and things like that don't know that, because I'm included, right?
They don't.
And it's like, and then when you go to the doctor and it's always, like you said, you're going to be okay. And I've never heard of what you're talking about right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, okay, so this is going to be my life for how long? Like,
and it lasts a long time. And during this time, again, women's careers are suffering, home life, relationships. You know, I can't tell you how many times patients come in and say, my relationship is impacted by this. My partner thinks that I'm not attracted to them. My partner thinks that I want a divorce. And that's not the case, you know, and women just want to feel better. But I think also recognizing it, right? And it's okay.
Yeah.
This is a natural part of life, but it doesn't need to be debilitating.
and then with that, because not on top of that, we're also the core of our homes. So we're doing all of these things, and then we're dealing with that, and then they don't understand us because we barely understand, right? And so it's a whole mess.
It is, and that's the thing. And only 4% of women in this country are on hormone therapy.
Wow.
4%. And there are a lot of different reasons for that. I think a lot of it has to do with the taboo that's out there and women still having this perception that hormones cause all of these conditions, including cancer, right? And it takes going to a provider who is well-versed in menopause like myself to be able to empower women to make the decision that is best for them.
Right. So is it covered mostly by insurance or no? Is it like, how does that, because I think that might be a deciding, you know.
Absolutely. So most of it is covered by insurance because, you know, it's sent to a commercial pharmacy, estradiol. It all depends on what your coverage is.
Right.
However, I find that, you know, women have all different types of insurance. Even within the plan, I've had to do prior authorizations going to the insurance company, telling them that this patient needs this medication. So for the most part it is. If not, there are coupon codes out there. Some of them are a little bit low cost. And then also we work together to try to find the best avenue and solution for you.
Yeah. Well, that's
if
good.
in fact it's not covered. But most of it is.
Yeah. And so we talked a little bit off camera. One of the most common symptoms of menopause is low libido or dryness.
Yes.
Right. And so I laugh a little bit because I'm grateful. But besides hormone therapy, and can we go that way a little bit in regards to the statistics on women not having or not receiving orgasms? And is that, like, why is that? You know what I mean? Okay, let me just say a little backstory. I used to do party planning. And so I used to sell adult toys.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I made a lot of money too. And I used to go and do parties. And so it was part of being a consultant, you had to have education. And so we went to like education classes and they would talk to us about different things. And so I found out some stuff that I didn't know either. It's shocking to know, 80% of women in between 20 something and 30 something have never had an orgasm, and I think that that's wild. But I know from talking to women I did it for 5 years.
Yes.
That, you know, it's true. What is that? Like, why is that?
So there are a lot of different thoughts, right? I think that sex in itself was also a taboo. We didn't talk about sex. Especially in my generation, no one talked about it. And so something that is also something natural, that a pleasure that people didn't talk about. So now they are, now this generation is making sex a little bit more enticing and making it more, acceptable within society. So women go decades without having an orgasm or not even knowing how to orgasm. There's a misconception that orgasm happens from penetration, and it's like, no, there's more to that. And it's not until women reach their sexual peak around 40 years old, because they start to know themselves. They are more confident, they're more secure within themselves. So when they reach their sexual peak, that's when perimenopause starts to come in.
Right. It's like, whoa.
I know, right? So with that being said, when they are just now feeling confident and they're going through the reduced libido, it's almost like, okay, what do we do? So I think it's important, and what I tell to women is, again, listening to women, is finding out, one, how do they have sex? What is their perception of having sex? Is it just, there are, women out there that just have sex to procreate and that's it, and that's what they're taught. So I think it's also making women feel comfortable. So that's why when women come in, I ask them if they enjoy sex, and they look at me like, wait a minute. Of course, yes. Do you enjoy sex?
Yeah.
And if you don't, let's talk about it. Why don't you enjoy sex? There are conditions where women are unable to enjoy sex based on sex being painful, based on their vaginal muscles not allowing for the penetration. So there's a lot of different reasons as well. But I think it's first identifying what they're going through their sexual experiences and encounters, and then taking it from there. And again, because of the loss of hormones, specifically testosterone, you do get a reduced libido where you have no interest in sex. So testosterone is such a great therapy where it kind of helps put the icing on the cake where women feel more desired. I have women come into me and say, my husband can't keep up with me now. So I'm like, yes, I'm doing my job. So I think it's also really, really identifying. And then there are sex therapists out there. There are couple sex therapy. So it's important to really be connected with your partner. And then also, is there a mental component to it? Because what if there was some trauma there?
Sure.
So it's definitely multifactorial.
I was just saying, like, there's a lot of parts to that to get to it. And I love that you actually open the door for those conversations, because that they may look at you initially like, well, but just to know that somebody's literally interested and wanting to help in that area, and knowing that I'm not broken, you know what I'm saying, and all of that. So I love that, and I would appreciate that for them, and
Absolutely.
all of that.
And if women go and they're having to, and then also women may not feel comfortable speaking to certain male providers about it, or depending upon the age or the race. So it's really finding a provider that you're comfortable speaking to, and knowing that you're not alone.
Right.
There are so many women dealing with this, and because you have so much life to live, you have to be able to enjoy it.
For sure. Like, let me tell you, this second half of life for me is like all about, what do I need? How do I get it? Like, I'm doing what I want. So this is right up my alley, because I refuse to settle. I refuse to not be at my best, but knowing that I can do a hormone therapy instead of meditating every day, all day. No. To stay grounded, because sometimes I know, like, the irritability is one of the things, and I'm just like, okay, let me just take a breath, and it works, and I realize it's not, I know what it is, but a lot of women are not aware, self-aware as knowing what's what. So that's really helpful. So I just want to turn gears just a little bit and get to you're helping all of these women.
I am.
You have 2 locations.
I do. Yes.
You have a new location on Long Island. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Talk to us a little bit about that journey, that process, those maybe the roadblocks that you had to overcome within yourself to even say, like, I can do this, I'm doing this, and then to open a second one. Like, that's amazing.
I know, that's, again, I'm like, whew. So being an entrepreneur was nowhere in my thoughts. I just wanted to just go to we are trained to just go to work, put in our 40 hours, go home, take our vacation, and that's it.
Right.
But, with me wanting to help women and wanting to do more, that's what led to opening Trust Women's Healthcare, which we opened our doors 4 years ago yesterday.
Wow,
so we just
happy
celebrated our
anniversary.
Thank you. So it was really just wanting to do more. Like I said, I was frustrated.
Yeah.
There was so much to be done. And I'm like looking like, what can I do? What can I do? And kind of being like a rabbit in like a wheelhouse, just keep going and just trying to. But I wanted to really use my expert opinions, my expertise, my experience, and really be able to leave a mark in this world.
Yeah.
And after talking to my board president at the time, she said, why don't you open your own practice? This is what you want to do. You can encompass all of that. And I remember saying to myself, you want me to be an entrepreneur? Wait, what?
Wow.
And I'm like, I don't think I can do it. That was my first thought. I don't think I can do it. And it really shouldn't be, right? Something that someone is suggesting, obviously she saw something in me to be able to suggest that.
Right.
So it's not that I went home and I talked to my husband, who was my significant other at the time, and he was like, let's do it. Without even a thought, didn't know how we were going to do it.
So he saw something too.
He did see something in me.
Awesome.
He did. And so we started the planning process. The planning process took about a year. And it was really pouring into making this work because there was no room for failure.
I love that.
It was really like, okay, and the more the research I did, the more I wanted it, and the more I said, this has to work. We have to do this because there's a need for it. And then when I started talking to other people about it, they were like, yes, we need it. And then it was also important because representation matters. And I knew that I was going to be representing my culture, my race, and just, women in general. So after a year of planning this, we opened our doors. And I will always remain humble and grateful because we had 2 patients on the schedule our first day. And now we're booked out.
I love it.
And where women, exactly, right? Won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
And so with that, there were some challenges, because you don't know what you don't know. You can hire the consultants, the attorneys. Like, we had a team to help us get through opening this practice. And there were still things unforeseen circumstances that we had. And it was really trying to pivot and dust ourselves off and be like, okay, how do we learn from this? Let's move forward. So I initially started part-time. I was still working full-time. And the practice just began gaining some traction and just becoming bigger. And I made the decision to leave my healthcare system position and to do this full time and taking a risk, which is huge. Because, I still had that safety net.
Yes, right.
I still had it.
Yeah.
But my faith, I knew that we had a great product and a service that we were offering. And I needed to pour everything into it. So hence why 2 years ago, I decided to just leave my healthcare system position and do this full time. And in that, I live out in Suffolk County. So talking with other women, there was a need there. And again, doing the research, we just didn't just and when I say we, it's me and my husband, always.
Right.
He is my life partner. He's my business partner. So just in talking and discussing it, we did our research and found that, wow, there's no representation really. We need to be out here. And that's why in January we decided to open after research and finding location and doing the work. And it's doing well. Women are embracing us. The community is embracing us. And we're continuing having 2 locations with 1 mission.
Awesome. And once the good word travels, they always say, oh, bad word travels. Good. We're going to refer stuff. You hear me? Sis is going to refer a sister now. They're going to be like, I got you. And so that's how it gets. I could foresee a 3rd location,
Wow. From your lips to God's ears. And I'm glad you say that because I tell women all the time, we are quick to tell each other to share where we get our hair done, our nails done, where we get an outfit, where we go on vacation, but we don't want to share where we get good care.
Right.
It's equally important, and it's actually more important, to be honest.
Absolutely, 100%.
So I always tell women, if you have a great experience with us, please share it, please pay it forward, because there is a woman within your network, within your circle that is looking for it.
100%. And that's one thing Sis Stop Sulkin is all about. Like, there's no gatekeeping. Anybody that comes on this show, I'm sharing them with my audience because they need it. Like, I don't just put people on here just to, I mean, we could talk at lunch and coffee, it's, right?
That is
But
true.
it's also, it's so important because I meet amazing people. And I've always been that person though. Even as younger, anything I learn, I come and I sit my friends around and I'm like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Hence why I ended up in education. But yeah, so I think that that's so important. And a lot of times people say like women are catty and black women don't support. I don't, that's not my experience because I put myself around women like me. And I, you know, saying like attracts like. And if you're about the cause and if you're looking to elevate instead of tear down, you're going to continue to run into those type of people. So it's
Oh, I
not
love
coincidence,
that. No, it's
right?
not.
That we ran into each other and that we're here right now because look, we're looking to serve and to help, right?
Absolutely. And anytime I can talk about women's health, educate women, it doesn't matter what the platform is. Even if I impact one woman, that is
Yes.
one woman that I've impacted that I may change her life.
Yes.
And she may know that, wow, I can make a decision regarding my health care. And absolutely you can.
Yes.
So I can talk about women's health all day.
I know, and we could talk all day.
I know.
But I do all the things that you're doing, right?
Yes.
I want to know like what are your top 3 non-negotiables for your self-care? Because we have to, the skin ain't glowing for no reason. So what do
yes.
you do for you that is non-negotiable?
Well, first, when I embarked in this journey in being an entrepreneur, I really did some soul searching because I did not want to compromise my health, my family for this business.
Right.
You know, that they're too important to me. So in terms of self-care, care is really just planning. Make sure I vacation, make sure I take some time off for myself. I make sure my days off that, well, no, let me stop lying. I don't log off, but I do have a day where I just log off and I don't go on the system because in my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God, what if someone messages me and they really need me?
Yeah.
So I think that those things are important. And then if there's a day I don't feel like doing it, I don't do it.
Yes, I think that's
And
important.
and also knowing the power of saying no. As much as it may hurt and you may feel bad, and creating boundaries, you have to be able to do that because I don't want to compromise myself and my health in order for this platform, which is important. Don't get me wrong. It is extremely important. But I tell women you have to be selfish and put yourselves first. Because you're not good. I'm not going to be a good wife, a good mother, a good daughter, a good provider, or a good employer if I am not putting myself first and being well. So I think that is very important for women to know, especially in this time, in this climate. There's so much going on. You have to protect your peace, like the young adults say. And so I try to do that. It's hard. It really, really is.
It's intentional. You have to be intentional.
Absolutely.
And that's one of my core values is just being intentional because we have so much to do. We have so many hats to wear. So I run into women all the time because I teach work-life balance. And so I run into women all the time. I don't know, what does that even mean? What does that look like? And so I literally go through a whole framework breaking down and to build it back up and to really get to the mindset. And I'm like, it's shocking, but I was there not too long ago to know that women are still like, what does that even look like? And nails, yeah, it's nice, right? But we're replenishing our mental, emotional, spirit. That's real self-care, and boundaries is part of that, and fitness is part of that, right? What we fuel our body with. So it's very important, and I feel like it's very important for us to continue to push that message and also provide those tools. So planning, you know, and making sure that you're unplugging. So that's what I'm hearing, and I think that that's great. That's important.
Absolutely. And if we look back at our mothers, I don't remember my mom putting herself first. And still to this day, you know, she always puts her family first. And I always say to her, I'm like, Mom, no, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Put yourself first. And she laughs, right? And it's also cultural. You know, she wasn't born in this country. She was born in Haiti where, again, the woman would always do for others and put herself last. So that's what I saw growing up. And she's an amazing mother. But now that I'm looking back and I'm like, you know what? She should have taken some time for herself. And it wasn't fair to us to make her always put us first.
Right.
You know, so whenever I can celebrate her, I always try to do that.
That's awesome. And so that's why for us, we're like, we got to put ourselves first so that we can be all of that for them. And then my kids, they know, I'm like, okay, give me a minute. Like, I need my time. Close the door
Yes.
unless somebody's bleeding. I'm a boy mom, so it's always somebody bleeding.
There's always somebody, yes.
But yeah, no, this is really, really
Oh,
good.
this is amazing.
And at the end of every episode, I always want to ask, because I do have younger women that are watching, and I want to say, what would you tell the younger Peggy if you had the chance?
Ooh, there's so much I would tell her.
Yeah.
But be patient. And know that what's for you, what God has intended for you, is for you. And your journey is not by happenstance. You're going to go through things, and it's okay. And it's going to mold you to the person that you will become. And I think about that, if I can turn back the hands of time, what would I do differently? And it's really, in life, at this age, probably nothing, because my journey has led me to where I am today. And the experiences and the journey and the tears and the sweat that I put into myself, and I poured into my children and my family, is why I'm able to do what I am today, and I'm able to pay it forward. So I just want them to know that it's going to be okay. And I see so many young women struggling. They are struggling with the idea of what their life is supposed to be like. And social media doesn't help, because everybody lives their best life on social media, right? And I tell women, I said, it's okay not to be okay. You can't look at someone else's life, because you don't know what their journey is. And I think that it's important for women to love themselves and to know that you're doing well. You're going to be okay.
That's so good. And I love that, because I think that, like you said, sometimes it's so heavy, and you just got, like, I'll see someone, like even one of my students, and I'll see their face, and I'm like, are you okay? And I genuinely mean it, and they break down. And it's like, and I'm like, it's okay to let it out. Like, trust me, a good cry is always good for the soul.
It's always good. It's always good.
And then you get it out and you move on, and whatever the case is, but feel your feelings, right? And also know it's okay to not be okay. And I had to learn that. It took me a while to get here, but now I'm here. It's like, it's no going back. And I'm shouting it so everybody knows, right? Because it feels amazing here. That doesn't mean everything is always sweet, but I'm equipped to handle it, right? So I love that. Thank you so much. Oh my God, we can talk forever.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and to be able to talk to women, to talk to your viewers about why women's health is so important, and why you have to get great care, and why you have to really be intentional on, when you go to your provider, to have your questions listed and be able to address all of your concerns. And last but not least, if you are not getting the answers you need, go somewhere else.
Well, tell them where they could go, please, Dr. Peggy. Tell them where they can go, both locations.
So you can go to trustwomenshealthcare.com, and it's the plural for women's. And we're located at 318 Gates Avenue in Brooklyn, New York, and then also at 1644 Deer Park Avenue in Deer Park. We're on all social media platforms, so please follow us. I do blogs. I also do informationals on social media, so to pay it forward and give women the information. And again, if women are not being heard, please come in and see us, because this is what we do.
I love it. And she's covered the whole radius of the tri-state to Long Island, so no excuse. But yes, thank you again. This was amazing.
So much
we
for having
definitely
me.
Have to have you back.
Absolutely.
For sure. So if you, and I'm not going to say if, I know you heard some gems. I know that there was some questions. Anything that you want to know, leave a question, leave a comment below in the comments so that we can address them. I'm sure Dr. Peggy will look at the comments as well and answer any questions. But if this was helpful in any way, please share it to 2 friends. Like and subscribe so that you are notified when the next episodes drop every single Tuesday. I want you to have an amazing rest of the week, to know that your past does not dictate your best future, and your health is super, super important. Until next episode.